show, unfortunately, with something that makes me very, very mad. I'm going to start the show off blowing off some steam. So, look, we're sitting here in WFUV studios in Fordham University's campus. We're representing WFUV Radio, who have produced, some of the greatest voices in sports commentary. We got Mike Breen, Michael Kay, the legendary Vin Scully. And yes, in their own right, they were all incredible talents who were truly gifted individuals who could paint the story of the game for a listener in a way that was memorable, in a way that encapsulated us, in a way that really truly made us feel like we were right there at the game, even if we were over the radio or on the TV. But not only was that, a key to their success, they also represented teams and represented entities that allowed them to be great. They allowed them to be their rawest, most authentic selves and truly just be their own personality, and that's how we grew to love these guys. Michael Kay said what he wanted on air. He called it how he saw it. Vin Scully called it how he saw it. Mike Breen screams bang every time a three-pointer goes. Now, I hate to talk so positively about such impactful people as a transition to something this absurd, but I'm going to, as bold of a statement as this is, I think the world of sports commentary took a step back last week. Baltimore Orioles commentator Kevin Brown, who is a very, very talented commentator for the Baltimore Orioles, as I said, was suspended by the owner of the Baltimore Orioles, John Angelos. Now, you think a suspension, oh my God, like he must have said something egregious. He must have said something really out of line. You want to hear what the horrible, heartbreaking thing that he said was? He pointed out that this year, the Orioles, who are having a fantastic season, have gone 3-2 at Tropicana Field against the Rays. And that was a positive high point because in the past 3 years combined, they've only won 3 of their last 18. He stated an objective fact about the team and was suspended.
Yeah. It's, Jack, you have a feeling of anger about this whole situation. I feel scared, for the industry, for sports media, for sports broadcasters in general. This is like a George Orwell type moment where, it's 1984 and, this is like mind control being placed on us by, when I say us, as, the industry in general.
Yeah.
But the owner is just, I don't know what his thought process was behind this. But this is like something out of a dictatorship. This is like, it's like Pol Pot-esque, and that's what's scary about it. It's like, would you want to be working under this kind of ownership?
Yeah, I'm looking at this article from CBS, and it says Orioles announcer Kevin Brown defends wonderful relationship with team after reported benching. Even in this situation, he remains graceful. It's like professional suicide. There's a statement that we make in this business. The fish rots from the head down, and that's usually a term I associate with like Jim Dolan and the Knicks. You say the first thing he doesn't like, and you're gone. He said the first thing that they didn't like, which was an objective fact, and they kicked him out. Definitely took a step back. I don't even see no reason to be upset. I mean, the Rays have been playing great baseball all year round, so that's not even a bad thing necessarily. But that's just professional suicide. I don't know what other way to look at it. A talented brother as he is, and you just suspend him for stating a fact. I have nowhere to go with this.
It's truly hard to fathom how unbelievably dumb this is.
Yeah.
It's truly like, I feel like I'm losing brain cells just talking about it, because the other thing that's interesting about this whole thing, he preceded the bad statistic with like a compliment. He said they're above 500 at Tropicana this year. That's a change from past years. And I'm sorry, John Angelos, but it's not Kevin Brown's fault that your team has been awful at Tropicana Field. He's simply, like, people joke on the internet all the time about, oh, that's an ESPN stat. Like when people bring up like crazy
something
statistics,
specific,
and it's like way too specific for anyone to actually give a damn. But like, you're looking at a team that is having a fantastic year this year. And by the way, the Tampa Bay Rays also having a fantastic year this year. But the AL East has been a bloodbath. And you're seeing him state an objective fact about the team's shortcomings to prop up the team's success this year. And John Angelos is such a gutless wuss of an owner that he can't even allow, some semi-negative discourse that, like I just said, wasn't negative discourse. It was used to prop up this year's successes.
Yeah, well, I actually disagree with you on that point, Jack. I don't think he's gutless or a wuss. I think he's scary. It's like he's a scary guy. Like, I would be scared right now. And look at his statement. Look at Kevin Brown's statement in his apology to the Orioles. O's fans, I'm a storyteller, and I never want to be a part of the story. The most compelling story in baseball right now is the story of the league-leading Baltimore Orioles, the best, most exciting team in the American League. That's like someone had like a, they were threatening him with death.
Yeah, it feels like a ransom video.
Yeah. And that's why I say it's like Pol Pot, where, in many of these dictatorships, for example, in China, what they would do is when someone would say something wrong, they would do a struggle session where they would put the dunce cap on. Everyone would point and laugh until the person apologized. What that statement felt like, it felt like Kevin Brown was going through his own struggle session where the Orioles organization was saying they gave him the dunce cap and they were just shaming him for what he said. So that was obviously forced. I'm sure that's not how he really felt. So I feel bad for him right now. And, obviously he's been unsuspended and, it's going to, blow over. But this is something to keep an eye on, this kind of trend for
you
baseball.
never want to see that. And for the Baltimore Orioles, this season has made nothing but health. I think that's the word that mostly associates with the Baltimore Orioles. For a very, very long time, they've been the bottom feeders of the AL East. And you have a season in a long time, you're doing good, you're looking good. And this is something you never want to see. You don't want to sully your reputation because healthy organizations are healthy from top to bottom. It's larger than the players and the managers and there's the bullpen. But it's from the guys in PR and it's everywhere. So you never want to see this type of guy. They unsuspended him, but this is going to be a stain, hopefully a stain that washes away. We never want to see this in professional sports. Not at all. Not attacking your own guys.
Before I send this to break, I just want to make one last little point because honestly, I'm getting more and more frustrated the more that we talk about this. But, I mentioned earlier that I referred to him as gutless. The main reason that and this is honestly one of the things that infuriates me the most about the entire situation, is even if I strongly, strongly disagree with you about any decision that's made or anything that's said, if you can at least stand on what you say and have a discourse about it, I'll at least hear you out. And I may tell you to your face, look, I don't see this, how you're viewing this whatsoever. Yeah. But what I think is the worst part about this whole thing and just makes my skin crawl is that he makes the decision to suspend a household name broadcaster for his team. And then he refused comment when the media asked him.
Yeah.
It's literally one of those, I did it because I said so. Like, your team's making headlines because you already made a stupid decision to suspend your, one of your household broadcasters, and you don't even have the guts to say to the media when they ask you a question. I beat report for the New York Mets. I hear players get asked hard-hitting questions all the time. Questions about their performance. Buck Showalter, they go right at him about certain questions. And yes, there's a time and a place for certain questions to be asked, but you really make a decision about somebody significant in your organization in terms of broadcasting, and then you can't even make a comment to the media. It's sick. It's lame. I've never cared about the Baltimore Orioles in my life except for the dozen times a year that my team plays against them as a Red Sox fan. And now they're having a great season, and the one time that I do, and there's headlines, and I'm being given a reason to talk about the Orioles, it's because of this garbage.
Like, for me, it's like you say, like, I did it because I said so. It's almost as if he did it like on impulse, like he saw or he heard like Oriole bad, and then he just said, "Get that guy out of here." Yeah. And now he just doesn't want to answer it. So it's like pure out of guilt, almost like a child, like Jim Dolan. So I don't know what's going on here. I have nothing else to say, really. I can't. I'm lost for words.
It's 1984. It's just Orioles version.
So it felt good to blow off some steam there. So. Yeah. That'll do it for this opening segment, this frustrating opening segment. When we come back on the other side of this break, we will head over to Flushing, Queens to talk about the New York Mets. You're listening to One on One.